Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is the Lair. Today we're unboxing a box of 10 Pokemon cards I got back from PSA in this box, professionally packaged. Let me get them out of here and we'll see what grades I got. Alright, let's go. Here is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Muck, a holographic, the number 13 card. Looking at the front of this card, the surface is free of any creases or bends. Looking at our holographics, just under the word Muck, on the holographics there's some very minor scratches. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's within tolerance. Our centering from top to bottom, I think is within tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're very clean. Taking a look at the back of the card, our surface is free of any scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think that's within tolerance. Centering from left to right is slightly towards the right. Looking at our corners and our edges, the upper left corner has some slight damage and there's some slight damage on the upper edge towards that right corner. And we'll receive a grade of excellent 5. Well, with the scratches on its holographic, that's what we get. This old card is a 1999 Pokemon game-based Alakazam, a holographic, the number 1 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, our surface is free of any creases or bends, but our holographics do show some scratches. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think that's all within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, the upper edge, the left edge, and possibly the right and lower edge all have some damage. Taking a look at the back of the card, our surface shows no damage like creases or bends. Our centering from top to bottom, I think, is within the tolerance, and our left to right centering looks really close to the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, we have damage all the way around this card on the edges. And that's going to get us a grade of very good 3. Wow, that's a low grade, but that card has a lot of damage. You're looking at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Hitmonchan, a holographic, the number 7 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, our surface shows no creases or bends. Our holographic though has quite a bit of scuffing and minor scratches. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's slightly towards the right, and the top to bottom looks pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, they don't look too bad. I don't think there's any damage on them. As we look at the back of the card, our centering from left to right looks pretty close to the tolerance. Top to bottom is also within the tolerance. Looking at our surface, it looks like we have some white stuff in the corner, the upper left corner. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's quite a bit of damage across most of those edges. And that's going to give us a grade of very good, excellent 4. Not too bad for the damage. We're looking at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Raichu, a holographic, the number 14 card. Looking at the front of this card, there's no creases or bends or any damage like that, but our holographics have quite a bit of minor scratching or scuffing on it. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think that's all within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look pretty clean. The back of the card is free of any creases or bends or any other damage to the surface. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's a little bit towards the right. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think that's close to the spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's quite a bit of damage to almost every corner and edge. And our grade is going to be very good 3. Wow, that's a low grade, but there's lots of damage. Let's look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge to Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, a holographic, the number 11 card. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that it's very clean. The holographics are free of any scratches. There are no creases or bends on the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are all within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see no damage. The back of the card is free of any creases, bends, or any other damage to the surface of the card. Our centering from left to right, I think, is within the tolerance. And top to bottom clearances, I think, is within this tolerance. Looking at our corners, I think our two lower corners have some slight damage. That's going to get us a grade of mint 9. I like it. Let's look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz, a holographic, the number 6 card. Looking at the front of this card, the holographic is free of any scratches. The surface has no creases or bends on it. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is all within the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, they all look pretty clean with no damage. Taking a look at the back of the card, our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think, is all within the tolerances. Looking at the surface of the card, the only thing I see, there's no creases or bends, but I do see something like a black spot of dirt or something on the blue border down the right side. Our corners and our edges look pretty good, except there is some damage on both of the sides. And that's going to get us a grade of excellent mint 6. Wow, I wonder if that dirt was removed, what grade I'd get. We're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Lieutenant Surge's Magneton, a holographic, the number 8 card. Looking at the surface of the card, our holographic show no scratches. Looking at our surface, there's no creases or bends, but there is a ding on the yellow border just above the 70 HP and the lightning symbol. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think, is all within the specs. Looking at our corners and edges, I do not see any damage. Looking at the back of the card, our surface is free of any creases or bends. There is a protrusion type from the ding on the front. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, that's all within the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're pretty darn clean. And that's going to get us a grade of very good, excellent 4. Wow, that ding really hurt. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Brock, a holographic, a trainer card, the number 15. Look at the front of this card, the holographics are free of scratches, and the surface is free of any creases or bends. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is all within the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage that will affect the grade. The back of the card looks free of any creases, bends, or scratches. On the surface of the card, our centering from left to right is slightly towards the left, and from top to bottom is slightly towards the bottom. Looking at our corners and our edges, the upper edge and the 2 upper corners have some very slight damage. And that's going to get us a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty darn good. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Misty, a holographic trainer, the number 18 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, our surface is free of any creases or bends. Our holographics, though, have a very, very faint scratch on the left side of Misty. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are all within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage. Taking a look at the back of the card, the surface is free of any creases or bends or any other damage on the graphics. Our centering from left to right is slightly towards the left. Our centering from top to bottom, I think, is within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, the lower left corner and possibly a little bit across that lower edge has some damage. And we're going to get a grade of excellent mint 6. That's pretty good with the scratch. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Black Star promo Eevee-Holo from the Pokemon League, the number 11 card of the promo set. The front of this card looks really clean. There's no creases or bends, but there are a lot of minor scratches on the holographics, some scuffing. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's slightly towards the right. Centering from top to bottom looks slightly towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, though, I think they're very clean and show no damage. The back of the card shows no creases or bends or any other damage to the graphics. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's within the tolerance. Our centering from top to bottom, I think, is within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, the 2 left corners and possibly the lower right corner have some damage. And that's going to get us a grade of excellent 5. Not too bad with the scratches on this holographics. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the cards and the video. Please like and subscribe, and always remember, you got to catch them all. Have a great day.